With the Intersight Appliance version 1.1.5, we now introduced a new feature which allows you to change the FQDN of the appliance. You might wonder what's so special about it that I'm making a little video, and the reason is that it's not a very simple thing to do. And I'll explain a little bit why that is. So let me remind you first on how an appliance claim process works. So the moment when we ship out our device connectors or the servers or anything that has a device connector, it's pre-configured to reach out to Intersight.com, which obviously is not going to work in the case of an appliance, or if it's in an air-gapped environment, it will not even be able to look it up or connect to Intersight. So what happens is the user needs to log into the appliance and then claim the device with an IP address and the credentials. The Intersight appliance will then go and reach out to the appliance. So this is a one time, it needs to be able to reach it on port 443. And it will tell the device connector to reach out to the appliance instead of Intersight.com. So it will push the appliance FQDN to the SIMC device connector. Next, the device connector is now able to look that up. It is hopefully the firewall will allow connectivity to that FQDN from the device connector, and then the server is claimed within your Intersight account. So it's important to remember this is how the claim process works. It's the server that is reaching out to the appliance based on the FQDN that is configured. Now you can understand already that, let's say we change the FQDN on the appliance, this is not going to work because the servers that have been claimed already are still reaching out to the old FQDN. So now we introduced a new feature or a new step where you can prep the appliance FQDN change. So you log into your existing appliance, still with the old FQDN. You go to the appliance details page. I'll demo this later. And there you kick off the FQDN change. And what that will do, it will use the existing connection to talk to all the device connectors which have been claimed, all the servers that have been claimed, and it will push the new FQDN down to those servers next to the one it already has. So it's not going to mess up the existing connection. Then after that's done, and you need to validate the workflow, make sure it's pushed to all your targets. As soon as that is done, you can now take a backup and restore of the Intersight appliance. That will mean it will now come up with a new FQDN. And as soon as you do that, the servers, all the targets that were connected will not be able to look up the old FQDN anymore. But luckily, they will just fall over to the next FQDN in the cloud DNS list. And that lookup will work. And now the appliance has completed the restore process. It is fully available on the new FQDN. And the servers will be able to connect to it again without any downtime, without any additional configuration or unclaim or claiming again. The only thing that needs to happen is we need to clean up these all entries, which, by the way, will happen by itself after 7 days of successful connectivity. We'll clean those up, but we'll leave them for 7 days in case you do need to roll back to your previous environment for whatever reason. Now let me go ahead and show you how this looks in the system. So coming back to my appliance, when I go to the targets page, you can see that I have 2 UMM domains claimed. The assist, which is obviously the appliance itself, and through the assist feature of the appliance itself, we have 2 vCenters claimed and an IMM domain. In order to do the change, oh, by the way, this is the current FQDN, which is mf-rtp-cva-1.solar.local. You can see that I am able to ping that address, and this is the IP address that belongs to it. We will be changing to a new FQDN, which is going to be intersightcva.cisco.com, which has this IP address. So not only am I changing the FQDN, I'm also going to change the IP address. But more importantly, you have to make sure that this new FQDN is registered in your DNS, including the DC- alias that needs to point to the same FQDN. What you have to do is you go to the appliance details page. There you can see the details of the appliance. And by the way, this procedure is documented on the Getting Started guide under setup, there is a change the appliance FQDN. And I'm currently going to go through the procedure for a single node change. But there's also a procedure for a 3-node cluster for highly available management nodes, and or if you have a metric node included, or if you have HA and a metric node included. So procedure is a little different for everything, but as you can see, I have a single node here, and I will be changing the host name of the appliance and the IP address. In order to do that, as I showed you earlier, we're going to have to send down the new appliance FQDN to these servers. So I'm going to enter it here, and it will mention here, after the appliance is fully recovered using this FQDN, the old one will be removed from the targets. Make sure that both of them are resolvable with DNS, as I already did, and it can take several minutes per device. So you have to acknowledge here that changing the FQDN will remove the old FQDNs after a successful recovery. So yeah, be careful there that after 7 days, there's not really an easy way to roll back without doing the same procedure again. As you'll see, it immediately kicks off a workflow that is now going to go to all the targets, and per target, it will send down the new information, the new FQDN. Here you can see that the new FQDN has been pushed down to all the connected targets. You can see it has been successfully received by all of them. I actually had to run this workflow twice. The first time it failed on one of the targets. It took a long time as well. But the good thing is you can just always start the same flow again. So you just simply go back to the appliance details page. You click on appliance FQDN and then you start it off again. It doesn't hurt. So now we can go to the next step, which is making sure we have a backup, power off the appliance, the existing one, and then start with the restore. If you want to create a backup, you can come to the backup page. Hopefully you already have a scheduled backup that works. Mine hasn't been working for a while, but I can create a backup on demand by clicking on create backup. Then you just provide the backup host where you want the backup to, and the path, which is /home balen backups, and you give it a name, which is before FQDN change or something like that. You give your username, and then you simply kick off the backup. As soon as the backup is done, you can go ahead and power off your appliance and start with the restore. Now, as you can see, my old appliance has been powered off, and I'm going to deploy a new installer VM that is going to become my new appliance when I restore. I'm going to provide it a name. I'm going to choose the compute resource where we're going to deploy it on, and the storage and the network. But now, most importantly, we're getting to the inputs for the installer VM. And as you can see, we now have a new input, which asks us, what is the FQDN of the new appliance? Usually we never ask this because we always did a reverse lookup of the IP address. However, in this case, it could be that that IP address is still doing a reverse lookup to the old FQDN. So you can now provide the FQDN, you can provide the IP address, the net mask, the gateway, all the other settings which are required, and then you simply kick off the deployment of the OVA. After that, you're going to have an installer VM and you can start to restore. After you deployed the installer VM, you can now recover from backup. You can change the internal networking if needed, but the most important is that you're going to have to pull in that backup file again. So you're going to provide the IP address or host name, the location, file name, username, and password. And after that, the installer VM will read the backup, and after it has read the backup, it's going to detect that the FQDN is different of the installer VM that you deployed compared to the FQDN where the backup was taken. So it's going to warn you, and it's going to tell you two things. One, make sure that you've sent down the new FQDN to all the targets on your old appliance. And 2, make sure that the old appliance is powered off. You have to confirm that you did this, and then the restore will continue. After the appliance is successfully restored, which takes about 3 hours, we can see that we can now access it on the new FQDN. We can log in with the same username and password from before. And after we log in, you can see that all the targets are still connected healthily. So they have managed to reach out to the new FQDN. You can see that the server profiles are still in the same state as before, and the whole appliance actually is in the same state as before, without any disruption to any of the servers or any changes within Intersight. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped, and till the next video.